Let's begin with the Vanguard, which leads with Labour quits talks as FG offers 48,000 naira, OPS 54,000 naira. Says government offer insults sensibilities of Nigerian workers. FG's proposal, a reduction of federal workers' current pay. OPS begs Labour to return to negotiation table. Find the details of that story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Daily Independent is singing the same song, national minimum wage. Labour pulls out of negotiations over FG's offer of 48,000 naira. Says proposal insult on the sensibilities of Nigerian workers. The Daily Trust newspaper leads with the same story. Labour rejects FG's 48,000 naira minimum wage offer. Gives Tinubu 2-week ultimatum. Government mum. Details continue on the inside pages. And look at the story at the bottom of the page. Food crisis worsens as inflation hits 33.69%. Definitely something concerning. And look at that same story on the front page of the Daily Times newspaper. NLC, TUC pull out of minimum wage negotiation as FG proposes 48,000 naira. Labour insists on 615,000 naira. Gives FG end of May to reconsider stance, initiate genuine move to resolve impasse. Details you'll find on the inside pages of the paper this morning. The Nigerian Observer leads with the same story. Again, FG Labour minimum wage talks hit brick wall as Labour Union rejects 48,000 naira proposal, stage walkout. Two other papers now talking about the Blueprint newspaper. 1,266 FCT Kebbi Nasarawa pilgrims arrive Saudi Arabia. Sultan commends Tinubu. The details of that story continue on the inside pages. The Nigerian Tribune, Senate in fresh move to secure autonomy for LGs. May move conduct of LG elections from state independent electoral commissions. Seeks stoppage of allocation to LGs with caretaker committees. That story is on page 3. Of course, the Nigerian Tribune also has the Labour story at the bottom of the page. Labour walks out of negotiation meeting on minimum wage. Rejects 48,000 naira proposal of the FG, poised for showdown, says it's an insult to workers' dignity. Details on the inside pages of the paper. Business Day newspaper leads with this one. 7 tech firms grow fastest on FT ranking, defy pandemic-induced turmoil. Details of that story you'll find on the inside pages of the paper today. Well, that's the much of the papers we have for you today. Which is your own take?
So here's the thing. If you take a look at that Vanguard newspaper, 2 things stick out right there. First is the one, I think you'll like this one. Governors have killed, in quotes, local governments ascribed to Senate. So the Senate did say, look, this is already dead. Nothing is going on there. So they are urging the president, as you see, you just believe that lead story on the front page of Vanguard. They want the president to, as a matter of fact, do something, drive the initiative to revamp the local government areas. In fact, they were even telling him, look, don't allow funds to be allocated to caretaker committee run or led local government areas in this country. That should not be the case. But how the government takes that on board is going to be a thing, because look, even the state houses of assemblies, I don't know which word other than rubber stamp who can describe this, because they can't lift a finger. They cannot lift a finger against the executive arm of those states. And in many states, if not all of them, in many of those states where you manage to have local government elections, apart from the state stripping or the party in power stripping all of those local governments, they always say, look, the governor picks all those people. Whatever the president or government, federal government likes, if you give them the money, they just take everything back. Hey, bow and tremble to the executive governor and then the governor, as a matter of fact. And so you have this cycle going back and forth. And so if Senate is identifying this now, who knows? Let's see what happens. And then secondly, remember the pension fund. It's not the first time this is making the news. So above that story as well, you get to see where Atiku kicks against FG's plan to borrow pension funds. was referring to a certain 20 trillion naira that the Minister of Finance has said was there. So they didn't talk about the percentage of that money they wanted to borrow or mop up or activities. This is going to be a dangerous signal because government being what government is, they borrow these funds of these hard-working men who know, men and women, who knows what will happen, because this is the only thing they have. You don't give them any social security, they don't benefit anything from government, they do everything almost by themselves. Now you want to take their pension funds because it's there? He thinks, no way.
Well, I guess we'll get to hear from labor and the working class, and working class includes all of us. After all, it's all our pension fund, isn't it? Then you also, I like the twist which the Senate, beg your pardon now, the Nigerian Tribune has on that story, which you initially highlighted, which is on the local government autonomy. So the Nigerian Tribune says, Senate in fresh move to secure autonomy for local government may remove conduct of local government elections from CX. So we've been talking about this, how the state electoral commissions, you know, it's a rubber stamp. I mean,
I couldn't find the word better than that.
I wish I could find one too, but if if the State House of Assembly is a rubber stamp, then and it's surprising because they are supposed to be people who are elected on their own. This is elections conducted by INEC. So they're supposed to be people who are representatives of, but somehow the State House of Assembly still just come on the purview of the governor very strongly. But will it make a difference if INEC were to conduct the elections for local government chairmen? That's a big question. Some people think, yes, it will make a difference. At least maybe we will see a variation in terms of the number of parties, political parties that emerge winners. And because of the grassroots, maybe the people will be more actively interested in who is the local government chairman. So this is something that the Senate is mulling, which the Nigerian Tribune is highlighting for you here on the front page. 6 stoppage of allocation to local government with caretaker committees, which you already highlighted on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. So it's certainly worth paying attention to, and it'll be good to see just where that conversation goes to in the National Assembly. Ayo.
Well, my preference this morning, well, all of that is, of course, of high value, ladies and gentlemen, but we shouldn't ignore the fact that inflation figures are rising. And that's what you'll find right above the nameplate of the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. And the fact that they could even, back it up with some history is something significant. Nigeria's inflation rises further to 33.69%, highest in 28 years. The angle of the Daily Trust newspaper to it is that this has increased because the figures of food inflation has increased itself. Now, an interesting conversation went on this morning on this particular issue on the morning brief today, and one of the things that was being said by the economist who was speaking, though maybe he doesn't live in Nigeria, maybe he does, I don't know, is the fact that, look, the instruments that government is using to tame or attempt to tame inflation may not be the best. My contention is it's possible that the federal government has information that is not in public glare, consequently, responsible for the decisions and the actions that they're taking. That's understandable. But I hope we also factor in the fact that this is part of the reason that NLC, TUC, the labor unions, OPS, everyone is shouting that things need to be done so that the lives of people are not stifled simply because we are trying to bring Nigeria out of the brinks. We are bringing Nigeria out of the brinks and putting Nigerians even deeper into poverty. Well, that's what it looks like. So let the federal government come out and talk to Nigerians. For how long do we have to endure this? How much better? How much longer do we have to wait? When are we coming out of this doldrum? Because without this promise, I don't even think we can imagine what we are creating in the hearts and minds of people. It's my take this morning, Chamberlain, and I'm hoping that anyone who needs to listen is actually listening.
All right, well, if they're not, we'll have to find a way to drum it into their ears so that they will know and do what is right for the people. All right, we'll be back in a moment and take you through some of the issues here, starting with ASU. So stay on with us.